countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey guys, welcome to the after show for Unlocking the Truth, where we are checking out season 1, episode 3, entitled, Honey, That's a Dangerous Man. Come back, because we have lots to chat about.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
No, I'm not going to do it. Just know the words.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the after show for Unlocking the Truth. Like I said, we're doing season 1, episode 3. It's a good episode. Kind of, I don't know, I liked it a little bit. We didn't get that much information, but my name is Nadine. You guys can follow me everywhere at Nadine DP and the number 3. Nadine DP3, that's what it is. And what about you?
I'm Abigail Fraher, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Abigail Fraher.
Hi guys, I'm Maddie Makely, and you can find me on all my socials at Maddie_Makely.
What's up, guys? Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thereal_O_G.
Once again,
The
best
real
hand.
OG.
The real OG.
The real OG, loves her DMX. All right, we got it going. All right, so this episode, like I said, I did like it. I just feel like we just didn't get that much more information from, I think, Michael's case especially, Calvin's case a little bit, but initial thoughts, ready, go.
I was thinking the same about every episode thus far, and then at the end, I just threw my arms literally up in the air and was so excited for next week. That's the first time I've been actually excited to turn on the TV, super excited to turn on the TV.
The preview was fun.
Anxious.
The preview for the third case.
Right?
So yeah, I'm super excited about that, especially because we all thought that these were going to be the only 2 cases in the whole season.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to know who did what. Like I said last time, I feel like one of them has to be wrong, but both of them are pushing me to the point that I'm wrong. So
you have no idea
I
right now.
literally have no idea, but you're right. We didn't get that much further. I mean, other than improving what we already thought. I mean,
we got more emotional stuff.
More emotional
facts.
stuff, yeah, but I still think the same stuff. I mean, yeah.
All right,
So
well,
that's
we'll
on
chat
that,
a little
guys.
bit more, though. And you, darling?
It was a good episode overall, but I feel like this was Calvin's episode more so than Michael's episode. I just don't really care for the way they're splitting it up. I think I need to know a little bit more about Michael, and they just cut me off.
Yeah, it's so weird. They gave us what, one segment basically, and then we went to commercial, and then it was Calvin.
The commercials felt so much longer this
It did.
this episode too for some reason.
Maybe we were just anticipating
Yeah.
what was next, and so
They literally stop it out of nowhere. It'll be commercial break and then, okay, so let's move on to Calvin's case. And it's I just got into it and now you're switching on me and we don't even come back to it until a week from now. So it's
I have a suggestion, MTV. 2, 2, and 2, for episodes.
There
That's what you should do next time.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, yeah, maybe season 2 if there's a season 2. Hopefully there is a season 2.
Yeah.
Because I think we just want to know a little bit more about the case or just have it closed. But anywho, let's chat about our first case, Michael Polite.
Yes.
We're back to him. Poor kid, 14 years old, in jail for murdering his mother, setting her on fire, and allegedly murdering her. So this time, the first people we get to kind of chat with are Mike and Betty Nixon, who were their neighbors, were Rita's and Michael's neighbors back in the day when the whole investigation happened. And now they are the local gas station owners. And I just love, this whole town is just so small. The people that know everything are the neighbors, the gas station people, the uncle and the aunt. So we chatted with them a little bit, and Betty basically said the same thing that I feel like a lot of these women that we've been talking about, that women in his life, Michael's life, are saying that he was too tiny, he was too small, he was not capable of a murder such as this, of bluntly hurting his mother, using a blunt object to the head, hurting his mom that way, and then setting her on fire, that he physically wasn't strong enough. And a few other facts, and then we'll chat about it, was she said that Rita's door is always unlocked, so that's kind of a red flag of it could have kind of been anyone. And basically the sheriff said that they thought Ed was involved somehow. So what did you guys feel about, Mike and Betty's little testimony there?
I love Betty.
You like Betty?
Yeah, that was my first. She's a strong woman, and I think that's the first time that, at least in this case, we've had a strong female figure kind of step out and you know, they had to push her a little bit to say a name, but when she finally said, you know, Johnny's name, I was like, yes, finally someone's actually standing up for themselves. And I also liked how she kind of, I mean, no one ever, the way she described Rita was more like, Rita could take care of herself. So Rita was kind of seemed like a ballsy, broadish woman based on the way that Betty was describing her, and that actually for the first time was nice to hear kind of more of a description of her overall demeanor, because I don't think we've really heard anything other than she was a victim, but like why did you feel that way?
She could have kind of like held her own in a sense,
especially against
a
Meek Michael.
Yeah, that helps.
I really like, to be honest, that they emphasize so much on his size, because when you're dealing with a blunt object and fire, does size really matter, you know?
It does a little, knocking her down, I would think, right?
I mean, like, it definitely goes in his favor for sure, but like, I don't know how much I agree with, like, does it really go that much in his favor to a point? Like, if I want to set I'm little. I mean, if I want to set someone on fire, like, it can't be that hard.
Sorry, gasoline in a light.
I mean, but really, like, I just don't know why they're like emphasizing on that much. But I do like her too, Betty. Oh, Betty. No, she was great. She seemed like she knew the family pretty well. She mentioned, you know, I thought about stopping by that morning and stuff, and so she seems like she was pretty close to them, and she seemed like she knew like their family dynamic a little bit too. So it was nice to see that from like a closer perspective.
It's just like such an eerie feeling knowing that you could have been there that morning, kind of.
Yeah.
But also her saying that, it kind of just makes more suspects. I was like, okay, well now you could have possibly been there. You know, were you there?
Yeah.
You just said you were going to stop by. Did you stop by? I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
It's just, they're really, I think this whole entire town and situation is just so bizarre. Like, everybody knows a little piece of something, but mostly everybody's afraid to say something. But now we got Betty over here. She's actually willing to speak up and talk. So
yeah,
she was a breakthrough for us as an audience, I think.
Yeah, my thing is though, like, why is everyone so afraid if they all hate like Ed, for instance, and everyone doesn't like him? They all loved like, wouldn't your love kind of trump whatever? You really think Ed's gonna come and kill you? Like,
well,
I'm
I
confused.
think that says that everyone's in fear. Obviously, they think this guy's a dangerous man, and no one wants to stick up for him, or speak up against him. So
Especially now that he has got a team.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. So we learned from Mike and
does have a
Betty
team.
that Johnny Polite, we're introduced to a new guy. We were introduced to a lot of random characters that we didn't really get
Lots
to.
of police.
A chance to really talk about. So Johnny Polite, who's Ed's cousin, who's technically Michael's cousin, everyone's cousin in the family. It's everyone's
That's
cousin.
everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's just
All the police. Like I was just saying, if anyone watched Making a Murderer, which is, you know, kind of a similar theme to this, it's kind of like the Averys, you know, that whole family living in the same area. And I think that's just small towns that all families live on the same land. They buy the
creepy
same.
to me, man. I don't know. I can't. It's everyone knowing your stuff and then your.
Yeah, that's
like I am
small
like.
town.
Also, Betsy even said everyone knew that her door is unlocked all the time. Well,
Right.
Rita, if everyone knows your door is unlocked, you should probably lock your door. Like, just common logic.
That is
personally.
so bizarre. I think
You know
I would
what I
be
mean?
scared. I don't know if it's in her benefit, like not in her benefit, but like since they live in such a small town where not a lot of people are around, like does that mean you should lock your door or you shouldn't lock your door?
I never lock my door. It's so
Okay.
bad.
I live in LA.
Just so you know, if you know Abby,
Yeah, like
she doesn't lock her
let's
door.
say this on broadcast.
No one knows where I live, but I'm just like,
So now everyone knows that.
No,
you don't
but
lock your door.
after like
You're gonna get killed.
no, I'm locking my door
locking her
now.
door
Oh, it's
now.
getting locked.
I think it's just a small towns. I mean, like when I was growing up young, our neighborhood wasn't really developed at all, and I was in a small town in the middle of New York, not New York City, like upstate New York. And growing up young, we didn't really lock our door at night. But I mean, now that the neighborhood's more developed and stuff, we lock the door. But yeah, at the time, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. So I kind of understand that sense. And also, murders don't happen in their town that often. Like this was the biggest thing. This is what everyone knows.
Well,
so.
You think you know everyone.
And she probably figures I have about 62 family members that live right around me, so why do I need to lock my door for?
Yeah, I don't. So Johnny Polite, like we say, he's cousins to Ed. So his truck, we were trying to figure out whose truck was by the railroad tracks, because they were kind of, you know, they were teasing that last episode of whose truck could this be? Was it Ed's truck or whose? We find out that it was actually Johnny's truck. And right? Am I getting this?
Yeah, you're right.
It was Johnny's truck, and Johnny had said that he saw a man named Larry Lee coming out of the woods. And so it was Larry Lee, who's the guy who was, creepily walking through the woods right by Rita's house during a little bit after the murder scene happened.
Wait.
The murder happened.
No, it was Johnny that was walking across
Larry
the field.
saw
Larry saw
Johnny.
That's why I was just asking.
Yeah, sorry.
I got it. Yeah.
There are literally so many men introduced in like
So
5-minute
Larry-
period.
Yeah.
So Larry saw Johnny walking. So that's kind of where we're at with that now.
Kevin also saw Johnny walking. Kevin is the one that saw him walking early in the morning, and he rolled down his window and he was like, "Hey Johnny, like what's up?" And Johnny's like, "Did you hear about Rita?" Like coming from that
I think
That was
I think Larry was.
I'm wrong, guys.
So
Okay, guys,
Kevin,
if you guys are confused too, please kind of let us know
I'm
because
telling you,
so many
we
people are
need
Kevin heard
introduced.
from Larry.
yes.
We do
So
need him
Kevin
out.
is the police, which we still
Yes.
don't understand. No, we weren't introduced. Like, is he a cousin? Is he does he have the same last name? Coincidentally,
He's technically just a neighbor, is what they're referring
Across
to him
the
as.
street.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's just a neighbor.
So whatever. Kevin, he heard from Larry that this had happened. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I think that he might have saw. Didn't he see the truck?
He
I
saw
think
the
that
fire
he
truck.
Saw the truck.
And he saw Johnny's
yes,
truck.
because this is. Can I bring up this quote because this blew my mind? He goes, I just thought their house was, he goes, like he said he saw all the fire trucks, whatever, and he
I know what you're gonna
goes, their house was on fire, and I really didn't think nothing about it. I'm like,
I just thought their house was on fire.
oh, their house is on
That's
fire?
bizarre.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
You're not
All
gonna
these
go
people
help
are
or
weird.
anything?
Their little comments. Now, every now and then, I remember Ed's ex-wife was like, "To this day, I don't know what that means." When she was saying, when Michael said he set me up, and she's like, "To this day, I don't, like, what are you guys stupid? Like this, like."
Yeah,
this is serious stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah, these people, if they have like this information, they have like, I know we were just chatting about how it was fear or whatnot, but I feel like that needs to kind of trump something inside of you. Like with all of you, not one of you has tried.
Right.
Not one of you've all tried to hide this in a sense. So we talk with Kevin. He did not want to be on camera. Still trying to figure out, I mean, he must be related to the family, and maybe that's a reason why he doesn't want to be on camera.
But do you think is that his real name?
Kevin?
Yeah.
Why, yeah. I don't know.
Why wouldn't he be
I
on
don't know.
camera? Everybody knows who he is already, no?
But we don't.
I think a lot of times too, people when they're like, "Oh, I don't want to be on camera, but yeah, I'll talk with you," that they don't understand that's consent, that they can still use their name and audio. So that's probably, to be honest with you, it's probably what happened. Was that no, I don't want you to videotape me, but I will chat with you. You guys are a crew, like for production. Okay?
They're like showing his house, his car, his voice.
Yeah, so
But not his
I think
face.
it's kind of that loophole in it where it's like, yeah, you're not on camera, but we still have your audio because you agreed to chat with us.
And also, this is like a small town in the middle of nowhere, and they probably aren't even aware of the fact that they can do this. You know,
I don't know.
he probably saw the tape and was like, "They caught me." Like,
Whatever.
they got me.
Well, and I'm starting to think like more now. It's that these people just. It's one of those things. It's not happening to me, so why do I really care that much? But it's like, oh, a TV crew's in here, and it's on MTV. So yeah, like I'll talk to you and I'll sit down. But really, at the end of the day, when there's nothing going on, I feel like no one really cares enough to do something extreme.
Yeah.
It seems that way at least.
Or these people are chatting because they do have a little conscience, a little guilt about it, and they're like, I don't want to be on video, but yeah, I'm going to chat with you a little. So maybe that's it as well. So anyway, after we talk with Kevin and he tells us about what Larry had saw, we go and we see Larry. We see Larry and Carolyn, our husband and wife. They also did not want to be on camera.
Right.
So this was, I think, one of the first episodes. I feel like last episode only one person didn't, but this was the first episode we had multiple people who were like, hey, no, I don't want my face being out there or anything like that. And the Trisha, who is Michael's lawyer, actually came for this one because she had never been able to get in contact with Larry Lee or didn't know this information at all.
Which that was cool to see, I thought.
Yeah, that she was actually
They're
going
doing
out
some new
there.
work,
Yeah, doing some new work and stuff. But it's still just, I mean, I get that there's thousands and millions of cases every year. It just makes it like, how didn't Trisha know about this? I feel like it was so easy to get to this point. It wasn't like rocket science. You talked to one or two people.
Right.
But I feel like obviously you have like enough cases to deal with. That's how these cases get swept under the rug. Anywho, we chatted with Larry, and he was just discussing Johnny when Johnny was coming out of the woods to his car, and Johnny immediately is just like, did you hear about Rita? Someone killed her. And he's like, what the heck are you talking about, Johnny? And Johnny just goes on this whole rant about how Rita's dead, and his shirt and his pants were soaking wet. But at the time, Larry didn't think anything of it.
And didn't Kevin say that Larry told him he said that before the fire trucks were even seen going by?
Yeah.
Which is so weird. I mean, come on. What else do you need? That's
Yeah.
like...
Also, like, in Johnny's case, if Rita's dead, and this is someone that you know, like, you're family with and stuff, why are you walking away and not, like, running to the house to, like, be like, what's going on? Can I help?
Yeah.
If you
Right.
have nothing to hide.
Why aren't you still there?
Oh,
Why
that's
are you still
valid.
there?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why are you walking away? First of all, why are you wet? People need to ask questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Like-
hello, Larry, wake up. Like, why aren't you at?
Like, what do you mean she's dead? Like, does she need help? Should I go help her? Do you want to get in my car and we can, like...
And why did
like,
Larry go to the house?
So
After
nonchalant.
Johnny said that to him.
Like, he sees this whole bizarre situation,
Go to
just
bed.
carries on with his day. Like, are you
Yeah.
for real?
This doesn't happen all the time. Like, why wouldn't you...
Yeah.
Wait, can we like paint this picture right now? Strange man running through the woods after his family member was just burned to death, soaking wet,
Telling
like,
you about it.
telling you about it, and you're like,
Good
Have a good
night.
day.
Morning. Yeah, whatever. Morning. Yeah.
Chat with you later, bud.
Oh, there's the fire trucks
See you for
going
golf
by.
tomorrow.
you're like, no.
Meanwhile, Kevin's going, oh, house is burning down.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's
Alright,
like,
but
I
I
didn't
didn't
think
think of
nothing of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I get that. I get why Larry didn't go running to the house, let's say, right, to go check it out. I get that. He's not related. He doesn't know Rita. Like, shit. Like,
Right.
that sucks, you know? Like, yeah, that sucks. But Johnny, knowing about the murder prior to fire trucks, anything happening, knowing that is his, you know, his cousin-in-law, let's say, and still just casually walking around. What do we think the wetness is from?
So bizarre.
I was thinking gasoline, but
I agree.
you made a valid point. Why isn't he on fire?
Yeah, I think if you were literally soaked in gasoline, you could smell that. You
It could
would have
be
to.
like dew. Because
Maybe he's rolling in the woods.
well, no,
or
but like it didn't. The field, like I don't
But
know.
he said he was soaking wet, though.
okay.
Like, you had to, like,
maybe he like smelled of ash and stuff,
washed
so he
off.
had to like.
Was there
Yeah,
a river?
no, that's-
Didn't they say there was a
That's
river
good.
in one of the first episodes, or just
there's railroad tracks and then the forest or the field, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe he washed off because he smelled or something like that.
Also, he never mentioned, like, what he would... They made this... He makes this conversation seem so casual. Like, especially... It doesn't matter if you know the person or hate the person or what. If someone's dying, like, I would be just, like, bawling. Like, even if it's my worst enemy, just like, oh my God, like, what should we do? Like, I feel like we should... Someone's burning in the house down the hill. Like,
So, and then the other
like, what?
weird part, just kind of to end this whole Larry Lee saga in a sense, is so later on, I forget how many months later they said,
I think they said a couple. I don't think they were specific.
it was just so a couple months later, they get a knock on the door early in the morning, Carolyn and Larry Lee, and it happens to be Johnny, and Johnny's knocking on the door very aggressively. Larry's still in bed, so Carolyn gets the door, like, you know, like a great. Why wouldn't you get out of bed, Larry? Larry, your door is being aggressively
Larry is
knocked
a
on.
dummy.
Such a gentleman.
Larry.
He thinks so brightly.
Get
all
it
the time.
together, Larry.
So yeah, so Larry, so Carolyn answers the door to a really intense and angry Johnny, who's just saying, what do you know about Rita's death? And me and Ed, we're doing our own investigation. We don't know exactly what you know. And to the point where she said she was scared. She was really scared and was like, you basically need to leave. And she said she hasn't talked to him since. So once again, why didn't she share any of this with the police? You know, I mean, okay, I get, you know, the cousin and husband want to know, or ex-husband want to know what actually happened. They're angry, they're grieving, whatever. But
No. But do
I'm
we
playing devil's
know-
advocate.
Yeah,
playing devil's advocate.
I'm like, no, girl.
No, they just want to know what everyone knows, so that they can take out who knows
yeah,
what.
and then
Yeah.
take off. See
See,
you
like some
later.
more people on fire. That's what they were thinking.
So that's a red flag.
But
right
if
there.
it's like, oh, what? All of a sudden you care so much? You didn't care when Rita was burning to the ground. Why do you
I
care
just-
now?
Don't you feel like this whole entire situation is just so sloppy?
So
like if
sloppy.
you're gonna do something, like you gotta do something. But I think it's so obvious if you're just gonna show up at a door and be like, "Tell me what you know." Like,
I wanna
is
know.
not saying something.
and at like an obscene hour in the morning. Like
yeah, like
these people.
you
First
are
of all, these
so
people get
bizarre.
up early for
I know.
people. So if they're saying it's early, it's got to be, what, 5:30 in the morning or something? Like, I mean, Larry just chills at 6 a.m. outside. Like, people are up early.
This is weird.
So that's kind of all we got on the Michael Polite case, which I guess is more than we had last time, so that's good. So now Johnny is a big suspect, and Ed obviously has a great alibi that he answered the phone at his house, so who knows? Maybe Johnny went crazy. All right, so now we kind of switch, and they do an interesting break in between both cases. And we see Ryan, who's our host, at the Innocence Network conference, and there's 250 people this year there, they say, that were innocent, and they were proven to be innocent, that were wrongfully convicted. And one of the cameos that we have that just shows up at a random circle table in the middle of a little convention hall is Amanda Knox. And Miss Amanda Knox is actually, and I feel like she's one of the biggest wrongfully convicted people.
She's like a celebrity.
Yeah,
Huge celebrity, and she was there, which was crazy to see.
Like, you're so weird. They're not even giving us like it's just like a lower third, like Amanda Knox. You're like, what?
Like, if I blinked like a little too long, I would have missed it. And
I think we're all just supposed to know who Amanda Knox is.
Yeah.
So it's like she doesn't need a huge introduction.
But at
But
least
like,
like a little some.
can we just? This is like
for
that.
the people that don't.
Well, and this is like that when they introduced his girlfriend. Like, MTV, stop finding random things to just throw in for 30 seconds.
I get
It's not
Amanda
random. Okay,
over
it's not
the
random. Yes,
girlfriend,
no,
but-
you're right. But there's the segue into it. Is
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I
off.
wish they gave us a little background or something. You know?
I actually liked this little convention a little bit more. Actually, like more than his girlfriend. I liked it a lot. It made me really realize just how many people are wrongly convicted. I don't know about you guys. I never think about this on like my regular daily
Every
basis.
Wednesday night you do, though.
Yeah,
you do.
now I do. But it was just crazy to me to see that. I love how like it's like, let's have a convention for like how crappy our lives were for so long. I mean, but like it's a positive
relate.
thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh my gosh, like this.
It's a lot of people, too.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
they said it
those
like
are just-
doubled from last year,
Yeah,
which is
doubled
kind of
from last
scary.
year.
Which is that a good thing
It's a
or
good-
bad? That's a good thing because more people are getting out that were wrongfully convicted. But
Exactly.
like, how many people now are being
How many people are
wrongfully
in jail right now?
convicted? Like more
Yeah.
each year? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was. It was a good segment. It was just
Yeah.
the lead-in, I guess, is what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see just a
Taken
little bit
aside.
more emotions from Ryan, which I
Yeah.
like. I like hearing his backstory a lot,
Yeah.
too, because he did go through a lot. He is our host. So then from there, we head on over to our second, I won't say our final, because we get a teaser at the end that we're going on to more murders. We'll talk about that later. But Calvin Michael Smith, we're back with him. And we're just keep hearing more stuff about how the agent, Detective D.R. Williams, how he is just a bad man. He is just a racist meanie head. And meanie head. I don't want to say. I could say other words.
And I
but-
quote.
and I quote meanie head. But I think something interesting that we kind of find out from the beginning here. We were chatting with Ellen Lamoureux, who was the ex-wife who was abused horribly during her marriage to Kenneth Lamoureux, who was the initial first suspect of this entire murder case. And we find out he's dead. I had no idea he was dead. Did you guys know that last episode? I think this is the first time we revealed that.
I think that they said that he had killed himself.
In this episode or
Not
prior?
in this episode, in
Oh.
a prior episode, I'm pretty sure.
Over my head.
Same.
Over my head. But
I
anywho,
believe.
Yeah.
So we start off with an interview with Ellen, who, like I said, was his ex-wife, who he horribly abused all the time. And she immediately says that the first detective that they chatted with when this horrible beating had happened, the detective was clear that her husband had done it, that he was the one who did it.
Right.
This is before Calvin was even involved. His name was even a part of this whole case.
Was this the same detective or is this a separate detective?
Not sure. They didn't really
didn't specify. Okay.
specify that. I'm guessing it was the same detective because she was referring to him and discussing him.
Right.
But I don't know. I have no idea. They give us little bits and pieces here and there. Who knows? But yeah, so just to give some facts about it, is she basically correlated what happened with herself in a sense that he used to beat her. She had broken bones and nose. He hated when she was pregnant, and the victim, she was pregnant. She had all these broken bones. And then the biggest piece of evidence was that he carried this mag light, which we had to look up. None of us knew what a mag light was. I don't know if you guys did out there, but it's basically just one of those little flashlights you have in your keychain. And he had one on him all the time, and the victim, she was struck by that in the head. That right there is that's just a lot of evidence right there.
Yeah.
But
Too much evidence.
right?
Yeah.
And I think just the craziest part was we find out the day before this horrible act happened.
Right.
He was held in jail for about 4 or 5 hours because he beat the heck out of Ellen, and she had to run away to a neighbor's house, call the cops, and the judge even said, "Hey, I'm going to give you 4 hours to go get a gun and get your kids and get the heck out of state." And that's just a powerful statement right there. And then the day after this happens to the poor victim.
Where was that judge?
Right?
That's what I'm saying. It's really disturbing that a person in of authority was aware of how dangerous this guy was, and something like this was still able to happen. I mean, I don't know the entire dynamic of how things work, but I don't understand how someone can be locked in the basement of a courtroom for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, you can hold them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you can be on hold for whatever as they're processing paperwork and stuff.
And
I
that's
get that.
just as long as she can do it until it goes to court and he can actually go to jail.
Well,
until-
legally he can get
Yeah.
bailed out, stuff like that, because you can't really hold someone for domestic violence. It's not like you're in there for murder
but
or something.
that's so scary.
That is
Because
scary.
if he's violent towards somebody and you're only there for a certain amount of hours, when you get out, you're probably going to be more angry that you're just sitting in jail like that.
This
Yeah.
is so, I don't want to say unorganized, but this is such a small, not hick town, but what nowadays, in Los Angeles, a judge will be like, here's the paperwork for the divorce papers, here's the process to go through, and then she has said, get a gun, get your kids, and get out of state. That's such an old school.
I just
mean,
think
this happened a long time ago.
If
but-
anything, it shows it shows me how ignorant I am to things like this, because maybe this is just standard, this is the law, this is how it is, but it seems like it's just very holy, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well,
to
that's
me.
how it is. I mean, a lot of cases that you hear about, that's just honestly how the law is. They'll give you a restraining order on someone. I mean, you can never. I'm sure that's what happened with him too. But as the judge knows, that restraining order is a piece of paper.
Right.
If he really wants to come hurt you again, he's going to do that. So she is just talking, woman to woman, get out of there. That's I cannot protect you under the law right now, and so this is kind of the thing you need to do. But the thing I did like about Ellen was she was kind of the only one who kind of followed up with this case after.
Yes.
Yeah.
And later on, she 6 months later, when Calvin is finally in the picture, she follows up. She's like, "What the heck are you gonna do? I know that my ex is dead. I know Kenneth is dead, but are you guys gonna follow up on anything? Are there any leads?" And the detective, I quote, says, "We're going to arrest a black man." And Ken wasn't dead yet. He said, "Ken moved away. So what's it to you? Why do you care?" So that
And
right
then
there.
he
Such an
said,
ignorant
"We're
statement.
getting a known crack dealer off the street."
I hated that.
So right there is the motive of why they would do something like this. I mean, aside from the racism part, is they just, if you can't nail him for this, you nail him for that,
And
He's
that's-
giving himself away. The detective is almost giving himself away in this case, that he's such a racist. By saying these little comments and little statements, you're not.
Well,
you
he
know
wasn't
what I mean?
trying to hide it. Everyone knows
That's
that.
what
but-
I'm
I mean,
saying.
it's so obvious.
Yeah.
He
That,
was so cocky and so. It amazes me that he was so open to how corrupt this whole entire situation was, and he still got away with it.
Well, and I feel it's okay, I don't really care if he's a crack dealer or not. He's not the one that murdered her. So
Right.
that's a completely beside the point. And I feel that happens a lot too, where it's just oh, well, we're just going to say that, this Joe Schmo over here does this. So it's legitimate. It's at
Yeah,
least one bad person off the street. No.
I think it's really just showing how, I mean, in both of these cases, it really just shows kind of the laziness like we've discussed before, and kind of how these detectives and these police officers, they have a lot of power, and it's
Too
great.
much power.
I mean, it's great when it goes for the good way, but the fact that it can also go negatively, that's the scary part.
Right.
And trying to, minimize that, and that's kind of the goal, and I think that's the goal of this show too, to raise awareness on all different aspects of, of wrongful convictions and police work as well.
Right.
So after we talked to Ellen, we act like I'm in the band with them. Yeah, I'm gonna go interview all these people. I feel like I did. So William Speaks, who is the old defense attorney for Calvin when the case went to trial about over 20 years ago now. And this case was, which is crazy, and I think I don't know. It's amazing that they're looking at a case this far back, which is great. So he basically just chats about how, hey, I did my best. I did the best I could these witnesses that they called, these people that actually are the ones who basically kind of convicted Calvin, they're horrible. They're not reputable. They're just back and forth on everything. And they've all said that retracted their initial statements to him.
I think moral of the story is don't date a crazy girl.
No, literally, I said this last time too. I don't want ex-boyfriends from this. This literally makes me like want to like keep my relationship now. Like, babe, like seriously, like.
But yeah,
like they even admitted to lying about it. Like, it's almost like the first girlfriend told on him, and then it sounds like he dumped the other one because he told his girlfriend then, my ex like told on me or said that I did this crime. And then it's almost like this
She's
ex
like,
now
oh,
is
that's a good
teaming with, oh,
idea.
that's a great idea. Let me just like throw him in jail now.
See, you know what I feel, because he was like, oh, I was dating like, 5 women at the same time. So I feel like what happened is that like
They John Tuckered
he
his
like
ass.
he like told Valerie, he's like, oh, like this girl Andrea like said this about me, and then Valerie's like, oh, who's Andrea? Like, okay,
he said he was dating 4
right.
girls.
And so she's like, well, no more Valerie. Like, I'm gonna call on you just like Andrea did. And then there we are. And
Yeah, so, and Andrea now, she's passed away, sadly. And Valerie also did not want to be on camera and did not want to speak at all. She said, but the statements that William Speaks, the attorney, that he was saying, he said that Andrea had said, I know the truth and the truth will set him free. And she kept saying that, and she even said that on the stand. And so he put her on there because he thought that that would incriminate her, that the jury would be smart enough to be like, hey, this guy couldn't do it. And then with Valerie, said that she said the truth is that he didn't say it, that he didn't say these things. And then Little John, we realized, is an alcoholic, and I think it was
and a drug addict apparently now.
alcoholic,
like,
a drug addict,
incredible.
and he couldn't make any straight statements. So right there, the 3 people that basically kind of convicted him and put him at the scene are all not credible, but somehow they were able to convince the jury that Calvin did it and was there.
But so I want to ask you guys, what do you think Little John's motive was to like incriminate his friend?
Well, I mean, they even went into this about just the whole how this works at the criminal justice system and stuff, and how they will interrogate them so hard and completely twist their words. And like he went in to ask him what was in the store, and he like couldn't recall, and then he's like closed, and he's like, oh well, were there trees? And like which is what the store had. He like they can say anything to make all these all the pieces of the puzzle add up to make it look like a confession. Which goes under the detective cutting corners, like they said in the first place.
And we have no idea what they said to him. They could have said like, oh, you are, you could be tried as, an accessory or, someone helping. Like, we don't know what they even said to him. And honestly, like, it's a black man going into jail being, questioned by people. I'm sure he's not thinking clearly. I'm sure he is scared as hell. Like, what's going on? These people are interrogating me. Like, he's probably just gonna, yes. And all his answers were so short. It's just like, yes.
Well,
yes,
this
yes.
is
like,
why it was short, because pretty much the detective was giving him the answer in the question, like making it totally biased. And that's like something you learn, like as a journalist, when you're asking questions. It's like you don't ask questions for yes or no answers. You ask questions for like a full response. You're not supposed to sway a person one way or the other. And clearly he was swayed, especially with the question that you said, like, he was wrong when he said that there was clothes in this store, but he was like, but were there trees? And he's like,
completely fed into it.
And then he's like, I'm not putting any words in your mouth, right?
All I kept thinking is like Hollister. But like that's all I thought the whole time. I was like,
Why?
yeah, because I'm like, there's clothes in there. There's also artificial trees.
Like the clothes brand?
Because I'm just like, well, he said this, like, I don't know why I thought of that, but that, like, the guy saying there's clothes, and then he's just, because he could have thought that. He could be like, yeah, like, in the clothing store, there were trees. Like, I don't know.
It's valid. Yeah,
you know
I get what you're saying.
I know my mind, I did the fast food thing last time, but I'm trying to draw some connections here, but, like,
I got you.
Well, what you guys should look, I keep bringing up Making a Murderer, but it was just because it's so recent and it's so relatable to this, is Brendan Dassey, one of the guys, it's kind of ruining this for you guys, but you guys aren't going to watch it, I guess. But Brendan Dassey was just recently, it just came out in the news, he was released for basically lying. Like, he was released. He didn't do the crime, basically, of what, And the police, they basically did the exact same interrogation that we read right here. Is they kind of force him. You see it actually on video though, him sitting there, and in the beginning being like, no, nothing. I didn't see anything. I didn't do anything. And then them slowly convincing him that like he's like, yeah, I was there. Yeah, I did it.
And it's like
and
a
you
Stockholm
just, you see
syndrome
that
kind
whole
of
process,
right.
and to actually really watch that video and see that now he actually got off because it was all coerced and it was all lies basically. You guys gotta check it out.
And I'm sure at one point, after they twisted like his words so much, I'm sure they just dug him so deep to a point that when they like renewed this information with Lil Jon, they were like, well, you said this before, so you're already too deep into this. If you want to get yourself out, you need to testify against your best friend, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'm sure that's how it kind of went down, you know?
Right.
I'm sure he didn't just want to. But then again, like he said that he was with him at the store. Well, what did you do then? Where were you when she was being attacked? Like I mean, it's two black men. Could she have seen the wrong one, and you were the one that attacked her this whole time?
He probably just thought they were at a clothing store.
And
then they just put him in.
I think he's just like lying about
He
everything.
was probably just drunk. He was probably drunk, didn't know where they were. He's just lying, like they were, or maybe they were out that night and he didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I was at a clothing store. These girls are saying that we were here. I mean, maybe we were there. I don't know. I was messed up. Like, whatever. I just think one of the greatest parts about that whole thing was the fact that Calvin, when they interviewed him, Calvin was like, man, I didn't understand why my best friend get up there and lie, but then, you know, I mean, I know what the cops did to me, so I'm guessing, you know, that's what happened with him. He, like, forgave him and, like, wasn't mad at him. I guess maybe over 20 years of being in jail and, you know, really thinking about things, I guess he had forgiveness for him. But I thought that was pretty cool, seeing Calvin do that. But, yeah, when we were talking with, you know, Josh Tepfer, who's one of the people that worked with the exoneration place and the whole process of that, he was using the word contamination, and that's what we've kind of been chatting about. That contamination is when you basically tell the people the evidence and you get them to admit that they were there. And the only reason I bring this up right now is that he said that most statements that are made like that are useless. And I think this is going to be a big thing going through this record of that interview that's going to kind of get Calvin off, I think. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
How high, like, was this settled in their town court or, like, their county court?
Well, this was a bigger town. This isn't really small town, I don't think.
It went farther than...
This is in Kansas City and stuff, so this is a bigger town. Where Michael was and stuff, that's a smaller town of everything happening. Right. But this is a bigger town with everything, so it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
It's just, you know, the fact that the detective kind of wanted to pin it on who he wanted to pin it on. And, I mean, we still don't know for sure, but, I mean, all the evidence kind of points to it. But I think the biggest thing for this is there is a big chance or reasonable doubt that Calvin didn't do it. Even though there's no physical evidence that, what's his name, did it, that Lamoureux did it. I mean, and it's hard now that he's
pretty
passed
obvious.
away.
We have a weapon with him, the fact that he, like, is abusive. He spent time in, like, a mental institute. He had every reason to be angry at that point in time just because of what had happened to his wife just the night before. He had, like, an obsession with the woman, which was, like, kind of bizarre. Like, I just feel like it's so obvious to me, and
I agree.
Is it supposed to be?
Because you're a great detective, that's
you
why.
are a great detective.
I know, right?
You're the OG.
Hire me. Like, what's going on? I don't know.
Also, he dipped out the day after this happened. Like, if that's not a huge red flag to you, then, like, what is at this point?
I think it comes down to they know that he did it, but
they're
choosing to ignore it. And
so
I feel like the detective, like, has been waiting for this moment where, like, the black kid is in the same setting where this happens, where he can just put it on him.
To be honest with you, I think that it's taking more effort to pin it on someone who didn't do it than so is it even laziness at this point? It would have been so easy to just, like, legitimately solve this crime.
Right. Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was just blunt racism, and this is another thing, and this is what, you know, this is it's a kind of a good thing that MTV's doing this show, in a sense. It's really exposing, especially the younger generation, to what actually happens and to try to, you know, make change, which is what which I really love about the show. So then we kind of end the episode. Kind of ended real, like, I don't know.
Sheila.
I like
Oh, okay.
Sheila. Don't worry, I'm getting to my girls.
5 minutes of
Sheila.
episode.
Yeah,
I was, like,
I'm
expecting it
saying-
to be over, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
These 3 minutes were amazing.
And then we're introduced to Sheila, who is Calvin's mother. who, you know, poor woman. She said after everything had happened with Calvin, her son going away, that she got into drugs for 20 years, but she's been clean now. But I mean, obviously, if your son goes away like that, you're going to be affected by it. She refers to the detective as the devil himself, and she goes on this whole sad rant, and it was really heartbreaking to see what happened. But at the end, the last 3 minutes that you were just bringing up, she's basically like, well, I'm going to go find Eugene for you, Lil John. I'm going to go find Lil John. Lil John, the man who, you know, testified or wrongly, who had the wrong testimony or so they're trying to prove against Calvin, his best friend. So Eugene, she's just going around this woman, not caring about anything,
ballsy.
just owning every street.
She's like, Lil John with the beer. You know him?
Lil John with the beer. She's like,
The heavyset guy.
I'm not the police.
5 different names. My favorite thing.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. It just at the end she's just traveling around to all these little spots, and then finally, and the thing was she was wearing a camera too.
Yeah.
They had you know hidden camered her up, which I thought was great.
So sneaky.
Okay, it
And
was a
they
hidden camera.
actu-
I thought they had the camera. I was like, oh, they better be careful.
Oh heck no, they didn't do that.
They
That was
better
probably
be
on her
careful.
button or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And but yeah, at the end we find Eugene, and that's kind of the teaser for next episode is what's gonna happen with Eugene.
I love that the last 2 words are "I'm back" because you know that she's been looking for him. Like it
Yeah.
made me so because you know this woman has been like Sheila's been out there trying to find him, and now she's found him again, and she has all this support and she has all this publicity. So really, I mean, she's gonna get I think so much farther this time with him than she probably has been able to in the past, especially in like the kind of compromising situation that she's in.
Yeah, and one thing I want to touch on with like I saw this with her and with his dad too. They seem like such a close knit, like loving, religious family. Like, what would have given him the motive to do that to someone? Is
Well,
what
I
I'm
mean, you
thinking.
can't go based off that.
Well,
There's
but
so many
still,
people.
They just seem so cute every time I see them.
that's
And,
the
like,
fairy
every time
tale,
I
but
know, but still, like I just don't I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, why does anyone
My
do
pure
anything
soul
that they do?
is just like,
You're
my
so
pure
innocent.
soul. I'm sorry. I just can't help. I just can't help
Keep it going. Keep it rolling.
No, keep it. We need.
I'm sorry. I just can't.
We need that thing that everyone's pure. How could someone do this? But yeah, but no, it's sad, and it's so we're really kind of leaning after this that that hopefully Eugene, Lil John, will actually be able to go back on his testimony. But the thing is that they're afraid of both of those people, Eugene and Valerie. It'd be that they lied under oath, and then they can get in trouble for that. Even though I don't know if there's a statute of limitation on that or anything like that. But who knows?
Actually, I meant to ask that when we were talking about Valerie. That's probably why she didn't want to answer, because she's scared that she's going to go to jail now.
Incriminating herself for lying on the stand. I mean, I don't know that. I'm gonna look that up though, but I'm sure there's some type of. There must be,
If you
right?
guys know, let us know. If anyone out
We
there
need
does.
some law people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a lawyer on this. We need
Yeah,
to get
we
a
need to
lawyer
get
in here. Maybe we'll bring
detective
someone
or
in.
something.
Or someone on Google.
Maybe we'll bring someone in, a lawyer, to interview them
Yeah,
about
we
this.
should get a
So
lawyer.
we'll look into it for you guys. So so that's that was the episode, and then at the end, like I said, we get a teaser that we're gonna get a third murder case, which I was very confused about. I thought originally it was just gonna be Calvin and Michael's, and then we were learning about Ryan's, and that was the third one. I don't know how I really feel about getting another one in on this. I kind of want these to come to a close before I have to remember and write down 1,000 facts of information. But but I mean, it'll be interesting to see something else. So should we get into a little bit of predictions?
Yes.
All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Predictions.
That's good.
I did it on time.
Just like it.
Took me this long. I finally got it, guys. All right, so predictions. Let's start with Michael. Let's just go with who done it. Who are we thinking?
I think it's a double effort. Sorry there.
It's a duo.
It's a duo on Ed and Johnny.
Ed and Johnny?
100%, Yes.
You, ma'am.
I agree too.
And Johnny?
By the way, guys, we've been calling her Nancy. It's Betsy. Sorry.
It's Patsy.
Patsy. Oh my God.
Still not right.
It's confusing.
All right, just never mind.
Ed and Johnny.
Anyway,
Very
she's
good.
out of it.
Okay, yeah, she's done.
Yeah, Ed and Johnny. I'm going with those two for
Yeah.
Michael's.
All right.
Yeah, I just think this was like a family affair. I think they all knew a little something. They all do know a little something. And of course, like I feel like guy cousins are always like I mean, cousins are tight in
So
general, but
tight.
like guy cousins, I feel like they have
Bros.
this bond. I feel like he would be like, "Bro, I hate this girl," and he's like, "Bro, let's go get her."
Yeah, well, normally I would say that, like, okay, it's not, it can't be Johnny, like whatever, they're trying to tease us once again.
Yeah.
But now that they're introducing a third murder case into this and
They're
stuff,
trying to wrap that up.
Yeah, it's wrapped
things
up.
are getting
It's
wrapped up, so I'm kind of like, it has to be Johnny. But then her door is always unlocked. Was there someone else, or was it just Johnny?
Oh
That's
God,
how
it
he
was
got
totally
in.
Johnny, motivated by Ed.
All right, so Johnny
There you go.
motivated by Ed. It's
accomplice.
a unanimous call right now, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets all wrapped up. Now let's head over to Calvin. What do we think about Calvin? Who done it?
Crazy Kenneth.
Crazy Kenneth?
I have
Kenneth.
in my notes, I write Kenneth, and then a line, it's like creep.
Creep crazy,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
no, I agree with you. And like I even said last episode, you know, one of them has to be wrong. They can't be right on all of this, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with it too.
Yeah.
Crazy Kenneth.
Crazy Kenneth?
Crazy
Yeah.
Is
Kenneth.
it all around the OG? Yeah?
The OG?
I agree.
OG
OG
OG confirmation.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we have now that Kenneth, he did do it. I think now it's kind of, how is Calvin going to get off? Is it going to be by Little John's testimony? Is Valerie going to turn around and be like, hey, I lied about this? Who's going to be the person that comes out now? So I think that one's pretty much proven that he's innocent in that aspect. So that's a good thing. And then, I mean, it's not exciting to see another murder.
Bring on the
But
new one.
I'm excited to kind of talk about
I'm excited.
something different. So, all right, guys, well, that's all for us. Leave your comments below for us. We'll chat with you guys. We will be here next week. Remember to like, to subscribe, give us 5 stars on iTunes. Catch us all over the interwebs, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at AfterBuzz TV. And you guys can find me at Nadine DP and the number 3.
You can find me at Abigail Fraher.
You can find me at Maddie_Makely.
And I'm Olivia. I didn't tell you my name in the beginning, but you can find me at the real_O_G.
And that's all, guys. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.